Hello YouTube, 잘 지내요? Hope you guys are doing well. I've got a very big announcement for you today, YouTube. We're not moving, we're not going to another city or anything like that, but it is a very, very big announcement. But before we get to that announcement, let's talk about today's video. Why are you wearing the Soul shirt? Why you got a haircut? Why? What's going on? Well, I saw recently in America that people are going crazy over Gimbap. Just the standard snack or standard food or standard meal of Korea. Like I think specifically Trader Joe's has their like little pre-made gimbaps that are selling for like I think $6 or something like that, $3 to $6. I don't remember the exact price, but it's pretty wild. That threw me for a whole loop because I was like, oh my god, that's just a basic commodity here, and I guess people really want to try it. I don't know if it's any good. I can't really get my hand on one of those, but I did want to go over Gimbap in Korea because I figured why not? Why not give the real Korean Gimbap experience? And I hope you guys are ready for that. So let's get started. All right, so you guys came to Korea. You guys want to try Gimbap. You want to go. Where do you go, basically? What place do you go to? What has the best Gimbap? And what kind of Gimbap should you get? Well, there are many, so many Gimbap. There are many Gimbap places, like Gimbap Cheongguk is like the kind of brand one or the ideal name for where you go to get Gimbap. And there's going to be a list. It's all going to be in Korean. They typically don't have English, so if you guys don't really know how to read Korean, that might be a reason to learn how to read Korean, because as far as I know, there haven't been any places of English for Gimbap. There might be one or two in like the touristy places, or there might be people who can explain the Gimbap in English, but they're usually only written in Korean. So if you don't know what kind of Gimbap you want, learning some basic Korean might help you there. And even if you can read, you might be in a position where I was, where I still didn't even know what was inside the Gimbap. I could read it, but I didn't know what was in there. So I just wanted to share a little bit of detail for you guys so you can kind of understand. So I visited two places today to get Gimbap. I visited the regular Gimbap place. You guys can see the menu. I recorded a little bit. The lady does, or any lady or ajumma that's working at the Gimbap place does such a fantastic job. They're like hand rolling it and doing like putting all kinds of ingredients, stuffing the Gimbap like a giant burrito, or mini-sized burrito I should say. And they're typically not very big places. Sometimes they can be, but they're usually very small, a couple tables, and very what looks like a long menu but very basic items, basically Gimbap, tteokbokki, tonkatsu, things like that. But Gimbap has like the longest list. Not all Gimbap places are going to be the same. For example, my personal favorite Gimbap is the tonkatsu Gimbap. That's like 제일 좋아. This is the best one. I love that one. But this place didn't have that. The standard Gimbaps that you would get is the Hwanjo Gimbap, or sogogi, chamchi mayo, or just chamchi, and sometimes tonkatsu is kind of a basic one. There are a plethora of others like 매운 고추 or nudu or 계란말이. There's just so many different kinds of gimbap, and I could do a whole video of explaining every kind of gimbap, but that's not what we're doing today. I just wanted to kind of show off a couple, and so that way you guys can make a choice for yourself what kind of gimbap you want to get. So the standard ones, they'll just kind of wrap it in basic aluminum foil, just like that. Your other option is going to a convenience store, which is sometimes better. The variety at convenience stores is much larger. Like they'll have a huge variety of gimbaps that have all kinds of fillings, whether it's sogogi, 제육, sausage, tonkatsu, chamchi or tuna. They have just so many. There's a lot of options. However, it is a convenience store, so they're not always stocked up. Depending on the time of day you go, there might be no gimbap. What might that time be? Usually around nighttime or late nighttime, there's like no gimbap left, because usually most people will grab them. They don't really fully restock them all the time because they're usually made to be eaten like within 1 or 2 days. Like they're as fresh as possible, and they don't usually keep the expired ones there. So throughout the day, there'll be a couple. And also, even depending which convenience store. Sometimes I've been to a convenience store where I felt like they never had gimbap, no matter what time I went there. And it was just like, yo, where's the gimbap? Why might a convenience store be better than getting a handmade one? Well, one, the prices are a little bit cheaper, and there is a huge or larger variety, and they are a bit more convenient to access. So for today's video, I wanted to do a little taste test of Chonijam Gimbap versus handmade Gimbap. I've had both before, never really set them side by side and thought, which one's better? And then there is another type of Gimbap, which is the Samgak Gimbap. This one's not going to be compared, but I just want to give everyone a kind of view of what's different. So this is the standard Gimbap, which kind of looks like a burrito, and Samgap or triangle Gimbap is just the kind of easier portable version of a Gimbap, and I'll show you how to unravel this one in a little bit. So let's get started unraveling our Gimbaps. You guys can see that. This is the traditional made Gimbap. Very nice. You can kind of see it like that. This is the sogogi one. Now I usually like to just eat my Gimbap like a burrito, but they cut it up for me anyways, so doesn't really matter. Grab two pieces here side by side so you can see. So inside you got sogogi, you got egg, carrot, damuji, a little bit of ham, and I don't even remember the Korean name at all for like this part here. It's like a root, I think. Yeah, I don't really remember the name of it or how to describe it, and it's got a little bit of green spinach in there, as you can see too. Sometimes they put kale leaf or sesame leaf, but it's all good. I say root, but it's all delicious. I'd say the biggest thing about eating this kind of gimbap is that it's got a very nice, soft, chewy texture, but it does combine with like a crunch from the damuji. Damuji is just pickled radish. Very good. And so sometimes when I'm eating it, I feel like I need to just swallow it right away, but like I need to spend time chewing it. So do be careful when eating gimbap sometimes. But this is very good. I mean, it's a basic gimbap. It's a basic snack. If you go out camping, you go out on picnic, hiking, wherever you go, it's a very, very good snack to get for the value, I guess. The next one I'm going to try, I'm going to have just one piece of this one. This is the chamchi mayo. Now, everyone swears by chamchi mayo. Like every person I've ever met, or when I came to Korea with a couple of friends, they just like swear that chamchi mayo is the best one. Like out of all the gimbaps, everyone almost, I feel like all across Korea, people swear that chamchi mayo is like the best one. This is just tuna, mayonnaise mixed with again damuji, carrot. This one has perilla leaf, some ham, that root stuff, and the spinach a little bit. The reason I never got it is because I can't really eat fish very well. I can have one bite and I'll be fine. That's why I wanted to try it, and I've personally never tried it, so I never understood the hype. So let's go try it. You know, for people who like tuna, I can see that being really good. I'm not a big fan of it. I think there might be a better place that will have a better one. This one was pretty good. The perilla leaf or the sesame leaf or cane leaf mixes very well with the tuna mayo. I think it has a very good combination. That part I liked. It was pretty okay, but I think this place didn't put as much tuna as I think that we should pay for. So each one of these gimbaps, one was 4,500 won, sabe 4,500 won. So total was 9,000 won, 9,000 won for two gimbap. All right, so it seems a little pricey in terms of what else you could get for that price, and it might be. However, you have to understand that inflation is a real thing. I mean, this snack used to cost maybe 2,000 won back in the day, and it's just been increasing in price, especially because the price of seaweed, which is, you know, what's on the outside here, has been going up in price because many people all over the world are like, give me Korean seaweed, so the price has gone way up. But anyways, this is a very good snack. I mean, one typically will fill you up. For me, I can eat like 1.5, maybe 2. And I'm perfectly full. It's a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot, but when you eat it, you're like, oh my God, this is pretty hefty. It might be because, you know, all the rice. All right, so before I go to the other regular gimbaps, I did want to go over the samgak gimbap. This one is the chicken mayo, you guys can see. This is 1,300 won, so this one's on the bit of the pricier side. But you can see on the bag itself, there are numbers 1, 2, and 3. So when you open this, you start at the top at the 1 and put it all the way around until it comes off. Then, whether it's 2 or 3, I personally at this point doesn't really matter, but you can pull 2, pull 3, kind of like that. Slowly pull it out, and then pull out the other one, and there you go. perfect every time. So as you guys can see, it is a triangle gimbap with rice inside, wrapped in seaweed. Got such a nice crunch. Look at that. Now, samgak gimbaps are my personal favorite, but that's not what we're reviewing today. Plus, there's not really places that sell samgak gimbap, like a handmade one. You can find them, but they're not as common as the regular one. So, if you want a samgak gimbap, a higher chance of finding one is at the convenience store, and maybe some like stores in like the malls. Maybe they'll have them. But yeah, if you want to have this style, Pyeongjum is the way to go. So, Pyeongjum. Pyeongjums are great. I went to a really big one earlier, CU. Popular brands are CU, GS, 7-Eleven, and Family Mart. Those are popular. Those are the brands of convenience stores in Korea. But there are so many choices in a convenience store in Pyeongjum. There's just so much. The CU I went to was very big, at least more than a regular one. And that's where we picked up these bad boys. Well, to be fair, I actually picked up one at 7-Eleven. I just didn't record that one. But I got this one because I thought it's really interesting. A Johnsonville sausage gimbap. So go America. And then this is the donkasu one that I was talking about earlier. But this is donkasu. It's very big, hefty, thick donkasu. But you can find sausage and donkasu gimbap at regular gimbap places. It's not like only Pyeongjum have these, but only Pyeongjum will have like this kind of crazy style. Like I don't think you'll ever get a super huge donkasu gimbap unless it's at a specialty restaurant. But I'm very interested in these. So the Wang donkasu or donkasu, this is 3,400 Sachon 400won, and this American Johnsonville one was also same price, Sachon 3,400won, 3,401. Apparently there's Nongyup on here too, the bank. I don't know why. But anyways, as you can see, each one was cheaper than the handmade ones. So together this was 6,800 versus the 9,000 for the handmade one. So as you can see, the price is cheaper to go to Pyeongjum, but maybe the quality is not as good. So you can see there's always an open tab for these, and it just kind of spirals around like that. Makes it easy to open, and then you can just kind of pop it. This is actually super huge donkasu. Look at that. That is thick donkasu. All right, let's try it. Oh, that was a big boy. I don't know what else they added in the gimbap. I think they added like some cabbage and some sauce, like maybe mayonnaise, a little bit of mustard or something. But you can see the donkasu takes up the most space in the gimbap roll. But it's very good. But in terms of quality, well, you can see compared side to side, this is the sogogi one. The rice looks a bit more rigid, whereas this rice is a bit more like easy to break apart. And that might be because when you get these gimbap, they're not like on the shelf, they're in the fridge. They're cold. So you can heat up a gimbap a little bit for like maybe 10-15 seconds if you really want to. I've tried it. I don't really personally recommend it. I think it's better to just let it warm up naturally on the table. If you're going to eat it at home, if you're taking it on the go, maybe just let it sit in your backpack for a little bit and then eat it, as opposed to just eating it raw from the fridge. And you might be wondering, how do you eat the other gimbap? It's always bothered me because it doesn't open all the way. Actually, you just kind of, like a push pop, you just kind of push it up, and then there you go. You got the next one ready to go. So in terms of convenience store is, well, convenient. I just opened up our sausage, American Johnsonville sausage. I'm very excited for this one. Oh, the rice looks a bit different. It's like not as white. I don't know if it's because they mixed something in there, but it looks pretty. I mean, sausage isn't exactly healthy, but it's got a lot of green and vegetable. It looks like basically a regular gimbap, like this one, except the rice is a bit different, and then it's got sausage in the middle. It smells nice. Let's go. I can say without a doubt, I'm not as big a fan as this one. I've had like sausage gimbap before, and like I think it's like very simply made. It's just sausage, mayo, maybe some of the like veggies or whatever, and it's very good. Like there's a place where I used to live in Gui that made a really good one, but this one is just kind of whatever. It's all right, but it's not my favorite. And you can even see, like, the sausage doesn't even show up on the next slice. So, in terms of convenience versus regular one wins in this case. So that's what I mean. You gotta have to like maybe just pick and choose. Like some can be much better, and some can be just kind of normal. So, for example, for me, the sogogi basic gimbap from the Gimbap Chongu isn't my favorite. It's okay. It's just basic flavor, which is typically why I go for the dongasu one. Dongasu one is very nice. Got a nice little crunch from it. It's got a big, or not big, but it's got a nice little chunk of meat, pork in there. Mix some veggies and rice. It's very good. It's kind of basic, but it's also very, very good. But there are other flavors like cheese, chamchi, or like I said, spicy, just a pepper, like a spicy pepper in there. That might be a little bit more flavorful. But the dongasu one, this convenience store, this one's my favorite. So out of all of these, this one is really good. Now, it's not just because it's dongasu, but the flavor is a bit actually nicer. Even if I were to compare this dongasu to a regular dongasu even if I were to compare this dongasu to like a regular handmade dongasu one, I think this one would still be better because the dongasu gimbap that you get at a Gimbap Chongu is pretty thin. They don't really give you a lot of dongasu in there. So for the price and the size of dongasu, I mean, look at that. Again, that's huge. That's massive. You can't beat this. This is pretty amazing. But you're not guaranteed to find these kind of gimbap in the Pyeongjam. Going to the Pyeongjam is kind of like, am I going to find a gimbap that I like? Is there going to be a cool one that I want to try? I mean, I've seen samgyeopsal gimbap, like straight up samgyeopsal with samjang and kenlip, and that was really good too. So just visit a couple and see if you find one that sells a gimbap that you want to try. The standard gimbaps that you'll always find is like Jeonju bulgogi. Jeonju bulgogi is like the standard. It's just like bulgogi with like this kind of spicy marinated sauce. I used to like it, but lately I've kind of grown out of it. It's not my favorite anymore. It used to be one that I really liked, but I think the sauce is a bit too much. And then chamchi is also a very popular one, like chamchi keran or chamchi kimchi or chamchi spam or something like that. Chamchi is very popular. Spam is also another one that you'll see quite often. But this one and like the sausage one is not one of the common gimbaps that you'll find. They're very, I didn't think I'd find this. So I think, in my opinion, the convenience store wins today. But there is a much more wholesome flavor from the handmade one. So I'll let you choose, YouTube, if you want to support the smaller businesses. Not all of the gimbap places are small businesses, by the way. Some of them are chains. If you want to support small business, look for the places that are super tiny, run by just a couple of ajumas. That might be a good sign that it's not a chain one. But you are going to be paying a steeper price, especially for maybe the nicer gimbaps like dongasu or chamchi, even sogogi as well. If you want to pay the cheapest price possible, you're going to go for the wanjo, the basic gimbap, which is just ham. I think sometimes they use crab meat, the fake imitation crab meat, some of those veggies wrapped up, and that's it. There's no really anything else. So if you're fine with that, that one will typically run you about each on obegon to some on obegon. It depends on the place. So that's between 2,500 to 3,500 won. It really depends. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. This is very good. It's very good price. Or sorry, not very good price. It's very good taste. Feels fresh. Tastes fresh. So you feel good eating it. Versus a convenience store one, which is delicious, cheaper, but it doesn't feel as fresh. And maybe you don't feel as good at the end after eating it compared to the fresh one. Also should note that like usually they put some sesame oil on the top, not always. So just check if you're allergic to kind of any kind of oil. Make sure you check and ask. But they usually kind of put a little bit of sesame oil on the top just to make sure it stays fresh. Usually, that's the gimbap reviewed. I hope for those of you guys who are watching today, you guys kind of understood a little bit about gimbap, so that way when you guys come visit Korea, or maybe if there's more gimbap in your areas in wherever you live, you can kind of understand a little bit more about it. So with anything, I hope I informed you guys in this video, and hopefully you guys try a plethora of gimbap yourselves. Maybe, leave a comment and tell me what your favorite gimbap is. And without further ado, let me go over the big announcement. We are going to Europe, YouTube. We're not going to be staying in Seoul anymore. I'm not going to Europe forever. We're just taking a 2-month vacation. That does not mean I'm stopping YouTube. I will be recording YouTube videos. But this will be the last video in Korea for the next 2 months. I'm very excited. I'm going to be going to France, going to Spain, going to Italy, and I cannot wait. Main reason for this being, I have family that lives in France. For those of you who don't know, my entire background is French, although I don't really speak any of it on this, so there might be more French speaking on the YouTube videos coming up. And I have the time. I'm not working right now. I'll be working when I come back, so this is really the most ideal time that I'll actually have for a vacation and to be able to travel. I'm very, very excited and very in need of a rest and to see some family. So look forward to that. I don't know what the plan is for recording in France, but like I said, we're going to Spain and Italy. I've never been to those countries, and we got a lot of recording for those places. I know that most of you watching are here for the Korean content, so I hope you guys stay and are interested in some of the European stuff as I am. And thank you for watching the video. And I can't wait to show off some fun places as well as many delicious foods. You know I'm all about food here. We're gonna eat so many good food places. Thank you so much, YouTube. Hope you guys have a great day and see you next time in Europe. Ooh.